Most Parkinson's exercise programs look like a giant buffet. Boxing, cycling, agility drills, stretching, strength training, all of the things that you're supposed to do. The problem is, most people aren't doing these exercises in a way their nervous system can actually use. Their form is off, their strategy is off, and the wrong body parts are doing all of the work. And if you spend all of your time at the buffet, you end up stuffed but undernourished. Lots of effort, but not much real change in how you move. So let's zoom out and look at Parkinson's from a neuroeconomics perspective. Your brain is constantly running a cost versus reward calculation on every movement that you make. When your dopamine dips, your brain starts to overestimate the cost of movement. If a movement feels too expensive, your system does something very logical. It protects you by shutting things down. How? By biomechanically freezing the big complex joints that are the hardest to control. The pelvis, the hips, the trunk, the exact joints that you must learn to move to fight Parkinson's. Now picture this. You're in a high energy Parkinson's workout class. The music is blasting, the instructor is yelling, move big, push harder, faster, fight back. In your mind, the intent for effort is cranked up to the max. But your nervous system has a different plan. When intent goes up but movement is too costly, effort flows into the path of least resistance. The places that are the easiest to tense, the arms, the neck, the jaw, the hands. This is effort overflow. You feel like you're working incredibly hard, but the effort is leaking into the wrong areas. So even though you're trying your hardest, your brain is not recruiting the joints that Parkinson's is actually shutting down. So you end up working around the problem instead of into it. And that can, over time, reinforce the very patterns that you're trying to fight. So let's use some real examples. I know so many people who say that they stretch, but they never move the joint that actually creates the stretch. They'll torque their neck, they'll yank with their arms, but the pelvis or the hip barely changes position. So the muscle that's supposed to lengthen never really gets the message. For example, something I see so often with stretching, somebody might be doing a seated side bend and they're just stretching like this. This isn't stretching your side. If you lead with your arm, the path of least resistance, it's not going to move the part of the body that you're trying to stretch. You have to invite that part of the body in. And you invite it in by moving your attention there. When you move your attention there and you use your voice, that acts as a spotlight on your body for attention, right? It spotlights where do you want the movement to initiate from? What do you want to invite in? If you want to actually stretch your side, you can rest your arm on your leg and you're going to go tip. Like I'm actually tipping and I'm connecting my voice to that stretch. And then at the end, the arm comes with. The arm comes with because the arm is following the movement of the torso. It's not driving the movement. So you might be thinking, I'm going to get this deep stretch when in fact, you're not stretching at all. I see this all the time with shoulder rolls. It's so important to increase the range of motion and mobility of your shoulder, especially with the affected side where there's frozen shoulder. But people will be rolling their shoulders like this. This isn't rolling the shoulders. You have to invite them in. You have to pull them back, lift them, push them, drop them. See how my arms and my hands are moving? My arms and hands are moving because they're attached to my shoulder. And if I'm actually moving the part of the body I want to stretch and increase the range of motion in, the arms dangling down below are going to move with it. Right? So we have to learn how to invite in the part of the body that is the part that you want to move. And usually that's the part of the body that the Parkinson's brain is saying, don't move. It's too costly. Let's just overflow all this effort into these other joints, in this path of least resistance. And even in your mind, you might think you're getting this intense workout. You think you're getting a deep stretch. It's not aimed at the right place. It's overflowing. It's overflowing into the place that is incorrect. And that is facilitating compensations, relearning compensations rather than positive plasticity. Another example is weight training. I see people with Parkinson's all over the internet lifting weights in the same tiny range of motion that Parkinson's has already trapped them in. They curl, they press, they squat in a short, safe little box, the exact same small range their brain already prefers. So instead of teaching the brain it's safe to move big, they're teaching it small, stiff, and guarded is the way that we lift. That is not how you renegotiate movement with a brain that is constantly calculating cost and reward. If your nervous system thinks movement is too expensive, it will always freeze or cheat. Yelling louder, going faster, or adding more weight does not fix that. What you actually need is to lower the perceived cost of moving those big frozen joints, to teach your brain how to send effort into the pelvis, the hips, and the trunk, instead of letting it overflow into your jaw and your shoulders and your hands. You need to practice movements where form, joint sequence, and felt safety come before speed and intensity. Because when you change the cost benefit equation in the brain, something powerful is going to happen. The same person who couldn't move big suddenly can. Not because you're trying harder, but because your nervous system finally believes the movement is worth it. So, if you're tired of doing all the right exercises and still feeling stuck, it's not that you're not working hard enough. It's not your fault. It's just that no one has shown you how to aim your effort at the right joints with the right strategy for a brain affected by Parkinson's and how it weighs effort and reward. And that's exactly what we do. We don't give you a bigger buffet of exercises. We teach your brain to reinvest effort into the right places so that your movement actually changes and you can maximize the most value out of every exercise that you choose.